After listening to this story, you will never ask yourself, "Why me?" again. Let's start. One day, a young man, burdened by pain and anger, decided to meet Buddha. Life had been unfair to him, people had betrayed him, and no matter how good he tried to be, suffering never left his side. With frustration in his heart, he walked miles and finally reached Buddha, who was sitting peacefully under a banyan tree. The young man bowed and said, "O wise one, why do I suffer so much? I have never harmed anyone, yet life keeps hurting me. Why does this happen?" Buddha looked at him, smiled gently, and picked up a small cup. "Hold this," he said. The young man held the cup. Then Buddha took a handful of salt and dropped it into the cup. "Now, drink from it." The young man took a sip and immediately spat it out. "Ah, it's too salty," he said, his face twisting in disgust. Buddha chuckled and held his hand, leading him to a beautiful lake nearby. The water was clear, reflecting the sky above. Buddha took the same amount of salt and sprinkled it into the lake. Then he said, "Now, drink from the lake." The young man hesitated, but bent down and drank a handful of water. This time, it tasted fresh and pure. Buddha looked at him and asked, "Did you taste the salt?" The young man shook his head. "No, master. The water is still fresh." Buddha smiled and said, "My son, the amount of salt was the same in both cases. But in the small cup, it made the water undrinkable. In the vast lake, it had no effect. Your pain, your suffering, these are like the salt. They are a part of life. But how much they affect you depends on how big your heart is. If you keep your heart small, every little suffering will make life bitter. But if you expand your heart, your pain will lose its power over you." The young man closed his eyes. He took a deep breath. For the first time in his life, he understood. His suffering wasn't in his fate, but in his perspective. From that day, he decided not to let pain control him. Instead, he would expand his heart, just like the lake, and let go of his burdens. Life will always bring struggles, but we get to decide how much they affect us. Don't let small pains make your world bitter. Grow. Expand your heart. And suffering will become just another part of life, not the whole of it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. One like or comment from you means a lot to me. I am working hard, and your support motivates me to create more videos. Let's meet again with another story.